Donald Trump will be inaugurated as the 47th president of the United States today. And across Canada, businesses and individuals bracing for the potential tariffs that he has threatened to impose on us, in his words, on day one. One of those watching closely is Lana Payne. She's the president of Unifor, Canada's largest private sector union. She is in Washington this morning. She will be meeting with people whose livelihoods are potentially on the line here. Lana joining us this morning. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
What will you be doing in Washington today?
Well, there are about 2,000 of us Canadians here today, many of us attending the embassy, and I'm here at that invitation to make sure that we're doing everything possible to defend Canadian workers and Canadian jobs and the Canadian economy.
Can you explain further, what does everything possible mean from where you're at right now?
Yes, well, there are going to be lots of folks have descended on Washington today, and I think the point is that we're able to all speak with each other. And for us, as Canada's largest private sector union, this means not taking anything for granted. For sure, there's lots of Canadians here. I want to make sure they understand our position, but also obviously Republicans and others who will be gathered here in Washington today. This will be the start of what's going to be a very long campaign to defend our economy against these tariffs.
Are you expecting to hear news of tariffs today?
Yes. Absolutely. The indication is that Prime Minister or President Trump will introduce as many as 100 executive orders today. Whether it reaches that number, I don't know. But for sure, the buzz is that this will include tariffs of some sort.
Now, we've heard this number a lot, but it bears repeating. Canada's trade partnership with our neighbors to the south supports 2.3 million jobs domestically. You were recently appointed to Prime Minister's Canada-U.S. Relations Council. They had a meeting yesterday. What is the mood in that meeting, and how is Ottawa's response plan shaping up so far today? And again, we don't know when, and we don't know how high the tariffs will be and how they'll be rolled out, unless you know and you want to share that with us.
No, I wish I did know. The reality is, for Canada, we have to be prepared for all scenarios here. 25% across the board tariff, tariffs on some sectors and not others, a phase-in of tariffs. All of these things have been voiced in one form or another by President-elect Trump. And so as a result, we have to be prepared for that. And our response has to be swift. And I would say to you as well, this also means that Canada has to prepare domestically for what it will do to support workers and to support industries in our country during any potential trade war.
You know, there's been a lot of focus on retaliation, reminding America, what this means for them as much as what it means for us. We've already characterized this as a trade war, hasn't even started, but in any war, it comes down to ammunition and strength. Do we have enough to go toe-to-toe with the Trump administration in the United States in a trade war?
We can be extremely strategic about what it is that we do and target it. And I would say that is the approach we'll have to take. I'm of the thinking that we do have to go dollar for dollar. What that means and what that can look like will depend on what it is we will actually see. But the reality is we do a lot of things in Canada. We send a lot of things to the United States that they need and American workers need in order to be able to do their jobs. Our industries are very interconnected, and these tariffs will be damaging to Canadian workers and American workers too. And that has to be a part of the message to the Trump administration.
Every day, including today, $3.6 billion worth of goods crosses the Canada-U.S. border. We are, as we know, America's largest market for its exported goods. Any tariffs that disrupt that trade, of course, are going to have negative consequences south of the border. Your committee and others have been doing your best job at trying to remind Americans that that's what it looks like. If those tariffs come today, what are you expecting to be hit first? What are you planning for?
Well, the reality is that we will have a lot of sectors in Canada that will feel the pain early. If you look at the auto sector, that is so intertwined with the United States. We produce parts that they put in their vehicles. They produce parts that we put in the ones that we build. Any disruption to that is going to be just disastrous. If you look at the forestry industry, where we represent a lot of workers, this too could be very very problematic. Many of these businesses are just hanging on and are already facing tariffs. So if they were to face another tariff on what they're already experiencing, this could be quite devastating very quickly.
What time are your meetings happening today, Lana?
They're all day long. They start around 10:30, and I expect to go into the early evening.
All right. Well, I imagine you're going to take a little bit of time to watch the swearing-in ceremony. Thank you for taking time with us this morning.
Thank you.
That's Unifor's National President, Lana Payne, in Washington this morning. If you liked that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.